Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Maple Hill Invitational. We're here for the match play 1v1 matchups. Our finalist in Ferris State University going up against Mizzou. Two highly contested battles thus far as we're through 9 holes. We're heading into the back half of Maple Hill Gold Course. Thank you to all of the supporters. Thank you to the 8 teams that came out to be part of this inaugural event. Thank you to our presenting sponsor in Dynamic Disc. We're on 10. This is Caleb Mergener playing for Ferris State. He is all squared up against Jared Brabant. Seen a number of shifts back and forth with these two over the last 4 or 5 holes. And the other highly contested battle taking place, we've got Brendan Tetloff here from Ferris State going up against Drew Cantrell. 375 feet uphill, plays much longer. Currently Drew 1 up through 9. And putting it up the middle here. Have a long look at birdie, asking for it to be a little bit higher. We'll see what he's left with. Caleb off on the right-hand side. And up onto the platform and past it, giving himself a not-so-easy drop-in for the par. We've seen quite a bit of gamesmanship, sportsmanship, also a little bit of strategy with our 2 teams here in the finals thus far. Drew doesn't want to mess with the wall at all, so pushing it off to that right-hand side. His teammate, Jared, also leaving himself a little bit of work. Both him and Caleb, who are squaring off, will have dueling putts. Looks like an easy up and down for Brendan now. Caleb to go first. I talked about it in the front half. Whoever goes first, definitely at a disadvantage in my opinion. That's unless you can always come through and put high pressure back onto your opponent. Caleb here leaving the door open. This is for Jared to go 1 up on the match. And he'll do just that. 1 up through 10. Drew and Brendan looking to both have the hole. Drew's in for the par if Brendan can answer with a par of his own. And the easy tap in and no points exchanging here on 10. Not at least for that card or for that grouping. We're going to head over to hole number 11. We watched them play it to a shorter pin in the various configurations that were played in rounds 1 and 2, but here we are on the gold layout. That's a sizable pull out to the short grass, dealing with one of the many Christmas trees that's out there. They were talking about where the better place to land is. And ultimately, we're going to see Caleb off on that left side. Wasn't necessarily how he drew it up. Both Brendan and Caleb from Ferris State down 1 through 10. And that should set up well for the lefty. Give him a good look at the gap from there. Beautiful early evening out here at Maple Hill. We're so used to seeing this event played, or should I say an event, like the MVP Open, played a little bit later in the year. So here we are out in May, mid-May. I don't think there's a bad time ever to be at Maple Hill, though. And they had played to that pin earlier, but not this round. And Brendan peers the gap. Little straight skip, and that looks like a tap-in birdie, putting all the pressure back on his opponent in Drew. Getting that forehand warmed up, punching through the gap. He's got some work to do, though. And the second shot is high and wide, and he's going to need some heroics here. Otherwise, he's looking at getting all squared up with Brendan. And squaring up with the tree is Caleb on that left side. That will likely be crucial because he's looking at possibly going down 2 to Jared. First, Drew, because he have another long putt in him. And not this time. So the match back and forth between these two continues to be exciting. Here's Jared. Had he put that in, he would have taken the point. Now up to Caleb to not relinquish a point. He can cash this in, walk away with a par. And I like the aggressive play. Certainly couldn't come up short on that, but that will likely not be enough. And Brendan from Ferris State is going to bring their match to all square. And somewhat of a formality here. We've seen Caleb just make sure he's getting all his putts in. So he'll be in for bogey, but Jared will have this short tap in. Anything is possible, so I can see you playing it out, but Jared taps that in easily, and Jared goes up 2 through 11. We're also kind of keeping a side eye on the doubles matchup that's taking place with these teams. And they've been battling back and forth. And at the moment, Ferris State has a significant advantage. Well-placed shot here on the tee of 12 for Jared. Caleb, no shortage of power. Just a matter of does he have the accuracy. And this looks smashed if it can unwind. Fighting up the hill. And that is really good position for Caleb. Almost maybe even a little too long, actually. All of these competitors, all 8 teams that were invited here, as you may have collected from the first and second round recaps, came in, most of them here on Saturday, the day before. Were treated to a nice free dinner. Also got a player's pack. And 2 straight days of playing out at Maple Hill. Apparently I went to college a little too early. Just too much stability there for Jared. That's going to push up to the high right side. He's looking at a 4 at best, most likely. And coming in hot. Hits the backstop, pumping the brakes. Brendan's looking at a birdie 3 from there. Pretty good line. Not bad reaction off the tree. And Drew, whose putting has been so solid, puts himself in a little putting battle with Brendan. And sure enough, it looks like he was too high and on that right side. So Caleb, not with a clean line, ultimately gets a little roll toward the pin, but he's got work to do. He's got to be thankful his opponent also doing some work. That's his third. And has a look to save the par. And of course, we've had some really tight battles here and very close, but you got to start thinking about how many holes are left and what your strategy is going to be and how aggressive you're going to need to be if you're down. Here's Brendan, and that's an easy birdie for him. Jared for his par. Caleb's also looking at a par. Oh, correction. Jared for the birdie. Brendan's in. Drew needs to make this. And that's going to be a par to Brendan's birdie, which means Brendan's going to go one up on the match. And Caleb and Jared. Caleb down 2. And at this point, I'm feeling the intensity. I'm just the cameraman watching the action. But you can feel just how close these battles are. And no one is running away with it. No one's able to close this out early, because just when somebody gets a little momentum, it feels like the other guy jumps right back and squares it up, or possibly even takes a point on the next hole or two. So that's left side for Jared. Caleb needs to get something going. Oh, and it gets about 2/3 of the way. Had plenty of heat on it. Not a bad kick for Brendan. Somewhat drifting right, then gets a carry or a kick or two. Left side, but makeable. Shouldn't be a problem for the par. Here's Caleb. It's got to be aggressive. Wow, and a full send there for Drew, trying to square up the match. He could have done so with a birdie putt. Now he's got work coming back. So, even more work than we realized. That is outside of the circle. Oh, but he cans it. What a par save. I think all the way back to hole 1 when it looked like he was just about to give a point to Brendan. He canned the long putt. And Drew will remain 1 down in the match through 13. We're going to make things official. They're all square. All right, Jared Now up 2. I should say they were all square on the previous hole. For the previous hole. Here's Jared. Again, major disadvantage to be going first, in my opinion. So Caleb can directly react to that, seeing how aggressive he wants to be. He's going to need to get something going. He's down 2 with 5 to play. I like the shape of that. And it checks up. That's going to give him a look for birdie. Most would not consider this a lefty-friendly hole, unless you're just playing for a par. Even that can be difficult. Brendan's safe. Again, he's 1 up on the match. That is not going to stay wide. The question is, what kind of ground play does it get? And pretty aggressive ground play. Hard skip off to the left side. We'll see if he's left with anything. And exactly what Brendan should be doing. You don't want to give away anything, so he's going to lay it up. Sees that Drew is out of position. But first we've got Jared, who's also out of position. So Jared pitches up. Good confirmation. Make sure his footing is all right as he's up against the back up against this tree. Brendan's essentially under the pin. And gives that a really solid bid. Such a difficult hole. Knowing you want to give it a bid, but you definitely don't want it to roll away and give away a point either. Here's Caleb to get within 1. And almost a do-or-die moment there for Caleb. So, solid putt under pressure. That's going to bring him within 1. His opponent, Jared, right there. Recognizing the battle we still have on both sides.
You are Big D Dakota on hole 1 at Maple Hill. Your distance gives you 1D20 on the tee. Are you going to use 2 skill chips to get 3D20 and go for the eagle? Order your copy today and hope no one sneezes during your drive.
Check out BoderBrothers.com. Thank you to Todd and Steve. Todd was out there hustling around, getting plenty of action as well from this weekend. So right-hand side for Caleb. Far from parked, but at least has a look at the birdie. Jared's up 1 on him. I don't know if they're calling for the black ace to put it in the wrong basket. But just about pin high for Jared, so he answers. Little finish or cut roll. Doesn't really get much action in his favor, but still has a look for birdie. So we've got 3 looks at least. And Drew peers the gap. And we'll have CTP. So a long look from deep in circle 2. Caleb needs to get something going here, and coming up short is not going to help his cause. He's down 1 to Jared at the moment. Jared could possibly extend that to 2 if he converts, but first, Brendan. And metal hit, but not enough. Jared can go up 2 with a made putt. So the opportunity was there, but Jared doesn't take advantage. And now, with the last opportunity for a score, and Drew cashes in the birdie. That is going to square up the match with 3 to play. And we're seeing Jared and Caleb just 1 point in the favor of Jared. We head to 16. Caleb down 1, 3 to play. Carries most of the distance, but gets a kickoff to the right. Looks like it could be an up and down to save the par. Birdies here are an absolute premium. And not quite cresting the hill, which is not only going to give you somewhat awkward footing or a position as you're trying to either run up or stand still, but more importantly, it's that much tougher to see the basket and control the angle in which you're trying to get it to fall toward the pin. And the Mac off the tree and putting himself in long range. Drew, some good fortune here on 16. Can Brendan answer? And doesn't touch a branch. Both of them pin seeking. And there's some of that awkward footing, but I love the release. A little too much on it, but very makeable comeback putt. We'll see what kind of a pressure can be applied. Caleb, little forehand chip shot out and around. And that's got a little too much mustard on it. It's a full 25, maybe 30 feet. Brendan to go first. Wow, seeing the opportunity, not able to cash it in. Drew is just outside of the circle after the great tree mac. And he cashes it in. So Drew up 1, 2 to play. Jared, long look at saving par. Trying to hold on to that advantage over Caleb. And draws nothing. Caleb to square up the match. So crucial. Caleb with the opportunity to square up the match. And as we're watching the doubles action taking place on the other card, we're seeing that the battle has unfolded and it is looking in favor right now for Mizzou. They move over to hole number 17. Caleb's in a do or die moment. He cannot lose a point here. He can have the hole, and they could go into 18 potentially with him 1 down, so he could have a chance to square up the match and then maybe push it to overtime. But he cannot lose the hole outright, otherwise the match is over. Looking at the same scenario for Drew and Brendan. So the backs are up against the wall here for Ferris State. Both of them need to at least have the hole, if not win it outright. Otherwise, it's over. And that's a smash. Jared with obstruction in the backswing. And albeit a good shot, that is a long way from the birdie. So at best, probably looking at par. Here's Drew. Oh no, pulls it wide right. And he knows that was all but routine. Little flick. And underneath the pin, advantage, Brendan. He's looking to square up the match. Caleb pulls it right, way off the fairway. Caleb needs to at least match what he sees from Jared, and that is going to leave him with a long putt. Jared knows the situation, says, I'm going to force you to make it. I'm not giving anything to you. So he's underneath. And Caleb knows he'll need this putt to keep the match going. Drew not short about it, but that means their match will go all square. And we've just caught word Mizzou has taken down the doubles. So out of the 3 matchups that are happening, we have doubles and we have these 2 single matchups. This is trouble. Caleb needs this to extend the match to the final hole. And a full send. He needed it. Doesn't collect enough chains. Brendan and Drew will go all square to 18, but at this point, it simply doesn't matter. Mizzou has taken it down with Jared winning 2-1. What a battle. So Brendan and Drew still decide to play it off for the honors. They're all square going into the final hole. And Drew cans that to force a playoff with Brendan. They're still all square through 18. So it's so we got that shot, Steve. Congratulations. The doubles team took it down. Jared took it down. Here we go.
Inaugural Maple Hill Invitational presented by Dynamic Discs to Missouri. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great for letting me
I just want to say thank you to everyone who came. Thank you guys for running it. Thanks for inviting us. We had a great time and appreciate all the time and effort put into this course. It was amazing. Definitely lived up to the hype. Ferris State for coming late notice and everything. We had a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
So I got 2 questions. Do you guys want to do a 1-throw CTP on hole 1 blue?
There you go. Let's do it.
And do you guys want to jump in the pond?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to. Hey, Matt. We can. Driving us home?
We can hide in your trunk bed. I'll ride in the bed.
Yeah.
Wait, jump in near my rate.
Hole 1.
Yeah.
So your inaugural Maple Hill Invitation champions. Congratulations to Mizzou. And this is really just for a little honor, seeing these 2 seeds go after one another. This is CTP for the match. Again, Mizzou's already taken it down. They won the doubles. Jared defeated Caleb, so that were the 2 wins that they needed. And these 2 just wanted to play it off CTP style, and it's going to go to Brendan. Again, congratulations to all 8 teams. Thank you for having us. Thanks for watching. Mizzou, your champions at the Maple Hill Invitational. We'll see you next year.
Oh, Jesus. I'll take it a week.
Why the floor right there?
I can't get out.
Fuck, man.
Wait, where's the race?
I can't.
It's too deep, I think.
No, I'll go for it. Where's it at?
Oh my God. I'm sliding back down.
I don't know if I can see it though.
Let me know, I'll go for it.
Where's, if you can see it. Oh, you're
No,
not
it
gonna
was
blow.
over here.
I'll be able to get it. You're good. I don't want to pull you in.
We will get the disc. Does every name and number on it?